Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll just hang out for a couple more seconds as people log on.
Cool. Thanks, Hollywood.
Thank you.
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Tim Evett. I am a student success coach here at Animation Mentor.
And I'm Mars, just like the planet, also a student success coach here at Animation Mentor.
Very cool. Nice to meet you, Mars. Oh, yeah, I already know you.
I know that guy.
So we're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about a lot of things. So we're going to kind of go through our agenda on what we're actually going to be talking about today. And the topic of today's webinar is Animation Mentor worth it? Right?
Yeah.
And that's something that Mars and I talk about often with students that we speak with. And so we're going to kind of go over a few things. So we're going to play a little ping pong and go back and forth on this a little bit. Mars, what do you think about that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So first thing we're going to talk about is why AM is so awesome. Well, it's like a statement. It's kind of a question, but it's also a statement. Why is it so awesome? Well, you're about to find out why.
We're going to show you.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about who our mentors are, where they, what studios they come from, and all of that.
Very cool. We're also going to talk about the animation pipeline. Now, character animation is something that we really specialize in here. We do offer other workshops, but we're going to talk about the animation pipeline and all the different jobs that are available for people that want to get into the animation industry.
I love that part. And this is a really special part. We're going to take you on an online campus tour and show you behind the curtain what actually happens on the Animation Mentor online campus. And so, yeah, Tim's going to walk us through that. I can't wait for that part.
Yeah, that should be pretty cool. It's sort of like a behind the curtain look at what we actually do, and it's pretty neat. Pretty cool. We're also going to talk about where our graduates work. So going through all these awesome programs is one thing, but figuring out where you're going to go after this is over and where you're going to work, that's an important detail. I think you guys are going to be blown away when you find out where our graduates are actually working. So that should be pretty cool for you.
And then we're going to talk about how to apply, how to fill out an application. We're going to show you an application. We're going to talk about those important components of what you need to include on your application, including essays and stuff like that. So we'll dive into that a little bit deeper as well.
Very cool. And we are also going to finish this thing off today with a Q&A session. So you're probably dropping in questions for Hollywood on the chat and things like that. But if you want to save them for the end, write them down. And then Mars and I will be available at the end of this webinar to go through those questions with you and answer them individually to kind of make sure that you walk away with the most information you could possibly walk away with.
Yeah, just one note about that. On the bottom of your screen, there's two different areas. There's chat. I know Holly just mentioned this, but just wanted to reiterate it. There's chat where you guys can all chat together and send us little comments and things like that. But there's also a Q&A section. Make sure you put your questions in the Q&A section there.
Good call. I like it.
Cool.
So without further ado, as Hollywood would say, our mentors, right? So our mentors come from all over the place. They are working at studios from around the world. We see here we've got mentors that are teaching classes that are from Pixar and DreamWorks and Industrial Light and Magic and Blue Sky and ID Software and Sony Pictures Animation. And what's cool about that is that you're getting to work with mentors that are currently at these studios animating day in and day out. So it's almost like a cheat code for a video game for students because they're actually able to pick the brains of professional mentors. And you've probably seen all of their work at one time or another. And so you're going to get to choose your mentor every 12 weeks as you kind of progress through our program. And I think you'll really enjoy that once you actually start seeing their bios and all of the different things that they're doing, not only professionally, but also with us as mentors with us as well. Cool.
Awesome.
Now, what we want to talk about next on that is, all these different studios have different sort of pipelines to where they're creating their films, right? Pixar does a little bit differently than DreamWorks and so on. So what we're going to talk about is sort of the pipeline piece of it as well. And I'm going to let Mars go through that and kind of show you exactly what that looks like. So check this out.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah.
So this is the 3D production pipeline. What does that mean? So there's, if you've ever seen an animated film and you watched all the way to the end of the credits, I bet you've seen a lot of names there, right? there's a lot of names at the end of these credits, and these people that are working together on all these different teams, they're part of this pipeline, right? There's three main areas. We've got pre-production, production, and post-production. So three different areas there. I talk to a lot of students, and if they're not exactly sure where they want to go, I think this is a really helpful slide. Sometimes they tell me, oh, Mars, you know what, I want to be an animator. I love animation. But I like to be a little bit more specific with them and try to find out, what area do they actually want to be in. As you can see here, there's everything from ideas and story and storyboard, all the way through to layout and modeling, and then actual animation, which we're going to talk a little bit more about here. VFX. Yep. I just saw a question about VFX, so we'll talk a little bit about that later on. In the Q&A section, we've got there's compositing, color correction, all these different areas. Now, I think one of the reasons why our animation mentor students and graduates are so successful is because we just focus in on some very key areas, right? Tim, why don't you take us to that next slide?
Let's do it. Boom.
So I love this because it really shows what we focus on here at Animation Mentor. What we really focus on, there's two kind of different tracks here at Animation Mentor. We have workshops and we have courses. Now our workshops are really designed to give you an idea and a taste of what it's like to work in these key different areas. So we've got a storyboarding workshop. Actually, we have two storyboarding workshops. We have our beginning and our intermediate storyboarding workshop. We've got some design workshops as well, like digital painting or visual development, principles of design. And then we also have a 3D character modeling workshop.
It's a great workshop.
That's an awesome one. That one's actually taught by a really awesome mentor and Blizzard modeler by the name of Hong Lim. He works at Blizzard. He works on Overwatch, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's our workshops. Then we have our character animation program, and if you see there, that's where you've got that digital puppeteer there, and he's moving the rabbit all around. That's
perfect for Easter, man.
That is actually it is, and really bringing those characters to life. So a lot of times when I talk to students, they ask about am I going to be doing modeling and rigging and lighting and VFX? And I tell them in the character animation program, the 18-month character animation program, that's all you're going to be focusing on. We're going to give you those high quality rigs to animate and work with. And you're going to start off simple with Squirrels and Stuart, those free rigs that we have on our website. You'll start off there, and as you progress, it's almost like a video game, right? You're going to unlock these more and more advanced rigs to get into some of those advanced acting courses, and eventually polishing a portfolio. Mm-hmm. So that's the full course that most students are taking. This is the one that you need to apply for, and we'll talk more about applications a little bit later. But that's the full character animation program. So again, workshops, those are generally 6 weeks. Some of them are 12 weeks. Those are really just designed to give you an idea of what it's like to work in those areas. And then the character animation program, that's the full 18-month program that most students are applying for and really leading them into getting jobs in the industry. So I want to really transition into this campus tour and show you guys a little bit more about what we're talking about with some of these workshops and of course the character animation program. And I'm going to pass it off to Tim so we can start to show us what it's going to look like on the actual campus.
Very cool. Thanks, Mars. And I'll tell you what, the having this pipeline chart is so cool because it gives people an understanding of what actually animation is, because you're right, there's so many gigs out there for people to get into, and so this is kind of neat the way that it filters it out and shows you what we do, and that's what we're going to dive into the campus site to actually show them some actual work, some fresh baked animation, as we like to say from time to time. So we'll be able to kind of check that out. So
cool.
Go right into that. Yep. There we go. Cool. Campus tour. We're going to dive into that. So we're going to do a little switcheroo here real quick. So hang on one second. We're going to drop over to here and we're going to drop into here. Cool. Nice. How's that looking? You see that?
Yeah.
So the Animation Mentor Student Campus, it's a different site than the animationmentor.com site. This one is campus.animationmentor.com. And so this is where our students essentially live. This is a living, breathing thing where our students live. Not only students, but also graduates, mentors, faculty, staff, they all stay within this particular area here. And so this is where all of the work is going to be done. This is where they're going to post all of their shots. All that stuff is going to be here. And I'm going to actually show you some of the stuff that we are doing in here. And so we can see there's all these different tabs up at the top, right? And they all activate things over here on this side. So right now we've sort of got the activity tab pulled up, and we're looking at the AM News, which AM News is anything that the people from AMHQ think you should know about or that's helpful information. We're going to post it here, like Peer Buddy. So if somebody needs a peer buddy, which is essentially like a tutor, we do that for free. So you don't have to pay to get a little bit of additional help if you're working on a shot or maybe having a sticking point. We want to make sure that we've got somebody there to kind of assist you with that stuff. We've got different daily sessions you could drop into, midweek dailies. We're also running video news. This is where Justin Owens and Bobby Beck will go ahead and post some cool video news for you to kind of look at for important topics and things like that. I personally like to go to the campus activity tab because it really kind of gives me an opportunity to look at all this awesome work that's being presented. So this is where the students will post their work. You can see here, Camille has just posted this shot 4 minutes ago, right? It's pending review, which means that their mentor is going to look at this shot tomorrow because all homework, or all weekly assignments are due on Sunday by 12 noon Pacific time. That way the mentor has a chance to review it, grade it, and then do what's called an e-critique of that shot, which is basically a video of them looking at your shot and then using these cool editing tools over the top to kind of help you with areas that you possibly need improvement on. And so you'll be able to do that as well. And so this is kind of what this student side looks like. So these are students from all different classes that are here, various different levels of coursework, advanced body mechanics and intro to acting. They're all sort of laid out here for our for us to look at. So our mentors can look at it. Then also we have access to this so that if we looked at a shot that Paulina had actually created, we can actually drop a comment in there on that shot to say, hey, great work, Paulina. I really like what you're doing with that ball bounce or something like that. So it's kind of nice that we have a lot of that community vibe because we want you to be able to give feedback and receive feedback from your peers as well. Okay. So that's kind of cool. So that's under the all campus activity. But look, if you don't want to see all of this content up there, we also have it set up so this way you could follow specific students. So if I click the following tab, it's only going to pull up students that I am currently following on the AM student site. And then we'll actually be able to watch any of these shots that we want to look at. We can look at any of them, comment on them, all of these different things from animation basics. They're all laid out here. So
I love that. I love that view. I love that view. That's the best.
It is cool. Yeah. And if you're like, you see a shot that you're like, oh man, this looks like it's from the Maya workshop, right? We got squirrels hopping over the, over this little ledge here to the acorn. That's kind of cool. So we can actually click the play button and drop in there and check that stuff out and see what they're doing in there. What else do we have up here? Let's go. We can also search people out. So let's dive into somebody's work real quick.
Yeah.
Take a look.
Let's do that.
I got somebody here that I think you guys might enjoy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's great.
So yeah, Sylvia is awesome. Sylvia is out of Milan, Italy. She's actually a peer buddy. So she's a much more of an advanced student that if there comes a time where a student that's in one of the earlier courses needs a little bit of help, all they have to do is go to the AM newsfeed and hit the request button on the peer buddy side. And then they could request a peer buddy, somebody like Sylvia, if they wanted to. So Sylvia has already taken 6 courses with us, and she's actually in her 6th course, and she's in our cartoony workshop is where she's at right now. So we can actually kind of cruise through her stuff here, and you can see this is the AM community part right here. So she's been here for 15 months. She's already at advanced acting now at this point, now dropping into a cartoony workshop, and you can see the tight bond she's had with fellow classmates, and this is kind of what that looks like. This is AM in a nutshell. This is the community vibe. So because our students only get to see each other in this sort of fashion for now until graduation day, because we actually have graduation ceremonies at Animation Mentor. Pretty cool. So we're going to drop into maybe one of her shots and see what you're doing. Actually, you know what? Better yet, let's check out her demo reel and what she's created so far.
Yeah.
I think you'll like this. Yeah. I'm not going to play the audio, though, because it could be quite loud.
Just kidding. Oh, I love this one.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
No dialogue in this, which is great.
Yeah, that's some body mechanics right there.
Yeah. That was me this morning. Quite loud in my headphones right there.
There's creatures stuff going there. Oh, body mechanics, I guess that is. Huh?
Got a quadruped walking there, which is absolutely amazing. So this is currently what her reel is looking like. So what she's essentially doing now is she's actually adding in some stuff that she's picking up in our cartoony workshop, which is yet another one of our workshops that we offer. This one's actually taught by Nick Kondo of Sony Animation, worked on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and actually an AM grad as well is actually teaching her that particular course right there. This is actually one of her shots that she submitted in her intro to acting course.
I love this one too. This is a good one.
It's a great, great shot. And the reason why I chose this particular shot is so we can look at this. And this is sort of what your mentor is going to do for you as well. But as a student, you also have access to these tools. So you see how I'm going through that frame by frame?
Mm-hmm.
So we can go through this stuff frame by frame, because somebody like Sylvia will post this on the student site for feedback. And you can see the feedback thread coming across over here on the right-hand side of the screen, where students from all around the actual campus are actually dropping in comments to kind of help her with stuff. And then they also have access to these editing tools up here at the top left-hand side. And this is where we can select different colors that might contrast well with, say, that curtain or his jacket. And we can actually choose something and draw right over the top of it, right? And you can see that being done right here, right? And the reason why we do that, and this is horrible with this 3-button mouse, by the way, you get the idea, right?
With pretty good.
Yeah, right? It's not bad, right? But with the stylus, a Wacom tablet, something like that, that has a much thinner tracing tool on it, you'd be able to do something quite a bit different than that. But this is there so that way we can go, oh, check this out at frame 75. This is actually what I saw. And you could actually post that on there and then send that right here directly to Sylvia so that she can make any corrections necessary, right? Now, what that does is it helps to breed our community, helps it to thrive. And it is also going to make you a better animator by also looking at other people's work and finding things that they can improve upon in there as well. So that's kind of cool. So that's one of the editing features we have. I'm going to actually drop in for a quick second to what an e-critique looks like, so that this way we can see what a pro does, right? From an e-critique standpoint. So Ray Ross is her mentor for this 12-week course. And so after she had submitted her work, Ray drops in this e-critique where he's going to talk over the shot and draw over the shot. So check this out. Again, no dialogue on it because the audio might be a little bit wonky.
Tim, is this specifically to her every single week?
Every single week. And
wow.
And what's cool is that even after she's done with the course or even graduated from AM, she still has access to all of this content.
That's great.
So she can go back and look at all of her previous work, watch all of her old e-critiques, all that stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
I watched this one a little bit earlier.
You can sort of hear it coming from your coming from your headphones, I think. Yeah, just barely. That's cool.
There's the drawing tool.
Mm-hmm. It's so specific. You're really, really getting into the details.
Yeah,
that's what I love about the e-critiques too. Is that the mentors. I mean, they're professional animators, so they're diving in deep. It's not like, oh, okay, you did good this week. Have a great week.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like mom or dad looking at it going, it looks great. I
mean, they really dive in. I've seen it. I've seen a ton of these, and they just, it's great. Yeah, the way that they go in and they give that feedback, and it's pre-recorded, which is nice too, because you can go back and watch it over and over again.
And you could see he's actually using those same drawing tools I was using, and he's going into the mouth movement of him because he's sort of saying, look, he sort of turns into a different character midway through this pose because of the distance from the bottom of his nose to the top of his lip.
Right.
And so he's talking to him about, hey, let's go ahead and try to fix this, right?
Yeah, it does. It almost looks like a different person. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that with them so they could see what that actually looks like. Cool. So cool. So that's part of what they're doing with the e-critique. So all students get their, they're going to create their own profile. They're going to put their skills here. That's how we get to know you, so that when we're actually in these courses, you have somebody that you can communicate with and talk with. And so you can see right here, this is examples of student profiles. There's mentor profiles in here as well. So it's amazing all the people that you'll have an opportunity to talk with over here and chat with. People like Chad, who's over at DreamWorks, and Claudio, who's from Pixar, and Dave, who's over at Blue Sky. So there's all of this great contact that you can have with these people here. So what's really neat, go ahead, Mars.
Oh yeah, I was just going to say, one thing I really love about the Animation Mentor Campus, and somebody was just addressing that in the chat. Holly already got to it. She's so fast. I just love how open the campus is and how you can see everything. Yeah. You can comment on everybody's work, and it really just creates that community vibe that you can't find anywhere else. And
you're right.
And everybody's, one of the things that I've noticed, about Animation Mentor years ago is that, everybody's working to better their demo reel and advance and get a job in the industry. But I don't ever see anybody elbowing each other out of the way. Everybody's always lending a hand and pulling each other forward. If you're not as advanced, especially with that peer buddy program that you were talking about earlier, that community vibe, that family, that tribe that we have here, everybody is always looking to help each other.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
It's so cool.
And that's funny, because one of the things that you hear a lot of when you talk to, yourself or me, is community. That word comes up so often because or tribe, right? Those are the ones that come up so often with us. And so these are examples of all of that stuff coming through here, right? All of this cool content in here. I looked at this one earlier, which is really slick, from Aaron. Look at this thing.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Right? I mean, talk about the level of difficulty kicking up from maybe working with a biped character, Stuart character, and then going to this thing. I mean, that thing is insane, right? So pretty cool. So, I mean, this is some of the work that they're doing here at AM. So we want you to post as many shots as you can. We love it when people, will comment on at least 5 people's shots, because that's how our community continues to grow, is by doing that kind of stuff. Even alumni like Joel Murphy will come through and have an alumni buddy system. So if you need a little bit of help, like he says, you're not alone, right? So if you need a little bit of extra help, we can also assist you with that kind of stuff as well. So this is just a great place for you to pretty much stay. So even between your classes, this is kind of where you should be staying. So we're going to drop into, we're going to go to the resources tab. Mars, what do you think about that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's cruise here. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on into the resources tab. Actually, no, we're not going to go resources. I wanted you to give me a little
let's talk about
snippet
files.
on the files.
Yeah. So this is a cool area. For those of you new to Animation Mentor, you've never joined before, you don't know what the old system was like, and you don't have to worry about that. It worked, it was okay, but now it's 100 times better. Everything's all in the campus, which is awesome. Essentially what this file section is, this is where you're going to, all of your rigs and all of your, your assets and your backgrounds and all that sort of stuff lives. And so it's just nice to have this all in one place. Also, you'll see that big green button up on the top right hand corner that says install Artella Drive. Look at my shirt, Artella. This is really cool too, because what it does is it really syncs what's happening on your computer directly to the campus. So that's really cool. But yeah, this is where you're going to go for all your rigs. I just wanted to mention it and show you guys just for a quick second here that everything lives right on the campus. Yep. One of the other nice things about the campus is this campus wasn't developed by some developers that don't know the school. These are all in-house developers. We built this campus from the ground
homegrown,
and the feedback and the further development of the campus comes from you, from the community, from the students. We do a lot of surveys, and we take these surveys really seriously. I mean, as a team here at Animation Mentor, we review them all the time. We look at those areas that might need some attention and some further development, and we bring that directly to the campus. We're in our 4th iteration of the campus now. It looks better than ever. I can't imagine it getting much much better, but
It's
I'm sure it
crazy.
will. I'm sure it will. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little sneak peek at the file section here,
Yeah.
because it's come a long way, and you can just easily access everything. And as I mentioned earlier, it's like a video game. As you get through the program, you get to that next level. You get through the principles of animation, then you go into body mechanics, and then advanced body mechanics. You're
Unlocking more and more rigs as you go.
exactly. So it's really cool, and the rigs are getting better and better. We try
Yeah.
and come out with new rigs as often as we can. We've got some great ones. Aya, like hanging out behind Tim there. Jules is an awesome rig, and we've got our newest rig, Quinn, as well, just to name a few. But yeah, cool.
Very cool. Thanks, man. There's a lot of good content in there. All working with Maya, so all the rigs are here for you, so you don't need to import any. If you do import some, that's cool. But these rigs are foolproof, right? So they're there for you guys to use. If you need any support, we got help for you.
Tried and true.
Boom. I'm going to dive into this resources tab because there's some good stuff in here. So those of you that like to dive deep into content and really immerse yourself, check this thing out. So this demos and tips area is just loaded with additional content for you, whether it's Maya basic stuff here, or if you're going into demos and tips such as planning and reference shots, body mechanics, acting, polish. I can just drop in and do one of these polish ones and look at all the extra content that lives here. Right? Tons of it. So it's not just the stuff that's part of your syllabus for your specific class. If you wanted to go into the basics, because this is how this whole thing runs, is based upon the 12 principles of animation. That stuff that Disney's wise men did way back in the day is still being practiced today. It's just the tools have changed, right? And so now Maya is doing all this stuff. And if you want to pick up some more knowledge or maybe refresh your skills in squash and stretch and anticipation and staging, all of these things, that stuff lives here for you to actually research and look at and just have some fun with it as well, right? So demos and tips is cool. Downloads are in here, but then the student resources tab is really, really slick because this is where you are going to go to do your new student orientation, right? So that lives here, right?
Yep.
So we do a new orientation every time we have a class, right?
Yep.
So the summer term that's coming up that starts June 22nd, they're going to have their own orientation video that's specific to them with all their dates. This tab is great because it shows us, hey, how do I set up my profile? Well, pretty easy. Not that difficult to do. How do I attend my Q&A? Well, it's listed here.
That's an important one.
That's an important one. So what happens is that once a student gets ready to go to their course, they would come up here, select my courses, click on their course, bam. The next window they're going to see is a window like this. And when they see that window, they're going to be able to see the time slot that the mentor is teaching the class in Pacific time, right? This one happens to be, as an example, 8 p.m. Pacific time, and this person's an East Coaster, so they have them converted the time to 11 p.m. They literally click the orange attend Q&A button. It's going to drop them into a Zoom room similar to the one that we're in right now, except there's only 8 other students in that class and 1 mentor, right? So we've only worked with class sizes of no more than 9 students with 1 mentor for 9 students. And that will be that schedule for that 12-week period of time.
I love that. Small class size.
Super small. Shows you how to submit your assignment, maybe how to submit your assignment video. There's all, if you want to learn more about the Artella Drive, that green button and Mars kind of showcase for us there, this one here kind of gives you an orientation video on that. Because it's so new, we want to make sure we train everybody correctly on that, right? So that's important. What else do we have in here? Oh, this is a good one, Mars.
Oh, yeah.
Career resources. So, we want to figure out how do we write a resume. It's here, right? How to do a cover letter. It's here. But then we've got this cool job board here.
You gonna
This
show
job
us that?
board. Yeah, this thing is awesome. This is actually updated every single day. And this thing is going to post jobs from all around the world.
Wow.
And you can kind of see what that looks like right here. All right, look at that.
So that yellow section's all from today?
That yellow section, it's all today.
Wow.
Look at these gigs, and there's a lot of on-site ones. This is good news though, because look, there's a lot of remote gigs on there, but it looks like there's a lot more that are studio now too. So it looks like things are starting to trend in the right direction, hopefully, right?
Yeah, that's interesting, right? We've been noticing a little shift between remote and on-site, much more remote gigs in recent weeks, and yeah, so that's interesting to notice that shift.
Yeah, that's good news on there. So that's the thing about this type of stuff. Look at Industrial Light and Magic is in the Presidio in San Francisco, but look at this. Oh, here's ILM in Vancouver, and oh, here's ILM in Singapore.
Nice.
So
Nice.
there's a lot of different work out there for people. And so this job board is there for you for as long as you want to access it, whether you're a new student coming into AM and trying to figure out what direction you want to go,
Right.
or maybe you graduated last year and you're like, hey, you know what? I'm looking for a change. I want to find something different. Come to the job board. Like you said, look at the dates on these things.
That's
Right?
incredible. Wow, there's so many from
There's
just yesterday.
I mean, I'm just scrolling and scrolling. Okay. I wanted to get to the point to where it put something old in there, right? April 9th. So, I mean, there's a lot of gigs out there for you guys. So this is something for you to look at. And that, again, it happens to be under the resources tab under career resources. And you see it right there.
Yeah, one thing I just want to add to that, I want to reiterate that that job board is not just jobs in the U.S.
Right.
It is, it certainly is. There are some great jobs in the U.S. in there, but I see jobs from. I mean, it seems pretty equal to me. I see them from all over the world, places that I wouldn't even know that there would have been animation studios in, but I see them just from all over the place, and I think that's a question that I get all the time, and a concern. They're like, oh, but do you guys just, since you guys are based in California, are you just helping students get jobs in California? And the answer is definitely no. They're all over the world.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a great segue too, Marsh, because I was hoping we could talk about where our students are working.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that that's something we're going to do. Let's drop into that right now. Right. Let's go here. And are you ready for this? This is going to be pretty cool because this is going to be a list of some awesome studios. Boom.
Boom. Studios and movies. This
Yes.
is really cool.
Yeah.
So check out some of these films. I know that you guys have seen, hopefully have seen at least one of these films recently. I know I have for sure. I just absolutely loved Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Frozen 2, Onward. I haven't seen yet. I got to admit,
I just watched it the other day.
Yeah,
Thanks Disney for throwing it on Disney Plus.
It's on my list for sure. Spies in Disguise, and so on. There's a ton of great movies here, and so where are our students actually working?
Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's see how many we have.
Bam.
Wow,
It's pretty good.
these numbers blow me away every time I see this.
Yeah.
Because I just loved Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse. I'll just call that one out. 42. That means we had, students who, may have not graduated, but maybe they were in an advanced class and they got a job at Sony Animation. They started working on that movie. This is a mixture of graduates as well. I know we had at least 20 or more graduates that were working on that, and then we had mentors as well. So it's kind of a combination, and that's what these numbers represent. Somebody that has taken classes here, somebody that's a graduate or a mentor that has worked on these films. So I mean, Onward 33, 20 on Frozen 2.
It's crazy.
How to Train Your Dragon, we've got 12. Spies in Disguise 35. Star Wars 10. His Dark Materials 11. And then Avengers 37. So just really, really a good representation of the types of jobs that our graduates are getting. It's amazing, and it's not just these big studios. Our students and graduates are getting jobs in a smaller and medium-sized studios too. I think it's important to understand that there's a lot of animation work in video games and TV. The Netflix and the Hulus are
The streaming stuff.
All the streaming stuff. They're putting out all kinds of content, and a lot of those are really small studios sometimes. And you know what? Our graduates are working there too. So it's not all. I talk to a lot of students that maybe they don't want to work at a major studio. That's totally fine. You're still going to pick up the skills you need to work at an animation studio, regardless of the size. So
Yeah.
But these numbers are really amazing. So
That's good
cool.
stuff. Yeah. And you know what? What I look at this and I'm thinking, okay, cool. What's my return on investment, right? And it's places like this. If you're able to work at a studio like this, there it is. That's the payoff, because they're hiring these people specifically as 3D character animators for these
Right.
things.
Right.
They're not texture artists. They're not rotoscoping. They're actually making that digital puppet move.
Mm-hmm.
Is essentially what they're doing. And so that's great knowledge and just great information. So let's kind of talk about pricing and how that sort of stuff works. And so that way you can kind of do a comparison on, hey, this is what this looks like versus what this looks like. So
Yeah.
I wanted to give you something to kind of write down, possibly, if you wanted to, and you'll be able to look at some of this stuff later and actually ask questions about this. And so we do research here at Animation Mentor because we want to find out what's going on out there in the industry, as well, right? And as well as competition, right? Because you want to know, right? You want to know how you match up against everybody. I mean, it's no secret that we just celebrated our 15-year anniversary.
That's pretty awesome.
That we are the very first online animation school in the world, dare I say universe, possibly, I'm guessing.
Galaxy?
Possibly, thinking. So what we did is we do a little bit of research here. And what we show is that if for somebody to come through our animation, our character animation track, which is that track of 6 classes: animation basics, body mechanics, advanced body mechanics, intro to acting, advanced acting, and then to finish it up with the polishing and portfolio, it's going to take you 18 months to do all 6 of those courses if you didn't take any breaks between terms. Usually there's like 10 to 12 days maybe between terms and stuff, so you still got a little bit of time to hang out. But to finish that whole track in 18 months, and the total on that is $15,000, $14,994, and you pull out with a killer studio worthy demo reel at that point, versus somebody that's going to much more of a sort of a traditional art college at 4 years, and looking at the cost. And you and I talked about this prior to this presentation, is that other schools, you know, where the housing is brutally expensive, that total is going to get skyrocketed up from the 150 grand to much higher than that. So 4 years, 150 grand for a degree as what they call a generalist, possibly, which is somebody that maybe does a little bit of lighting, a little bit of shading, a little bit of modeling, a little bit of animation, but nothing specifically focused. Now, back in the day, when Pixar was kind of just starting out and stuff like that, generalists were cool to bring in because you could do many different things and wear many different hats. Right. Now they're not so much looking for that. They want specialists that either specialize in one thing or another. And that's why our graduates are so popular in the studio world. And it's no secret now that a lot of the studios don't even care about the degree anymore. Degree is great to have, don't get me wrong. But in the real world, in the industry, demo reel is what speaks volumes to them. So studios like DreamWorks, they don't care about degrees. They want to make sure that your demo reel is rock solid and it looks like something that they could put you to work right now. And so this is great information, especially if you look at the price comparison. You'll be paying off student loans forever in doing the art college side of things if you're doing it that way. And you'll actually be out in the industry about 30 months sooner under our current guidelines there. So pretty cool. The only thing that you would add on to maybe that 18 months might be something like a 6-week Maya workshop or something like that. That might be the only thing, right? That's about it. So to get started on this type of stuff, what do you do, right? Well, you got to apply to the school to get that going. And so all the applications that do get submitted, Mars and I look at them, right? And so that's sort of the stuff we go through. And so Mars is kind of going to talk about applying and what that looks like. And then I'll give you a little quick example of that as well.
Sweet. So the application process, to be honest, it's easy. it's easy to apply. We accept students that have little to no experience. And so what it really comes down to is a couple of key components. I mean, you want to make sure you put your, your contact information, make sure that's all accurate and whatnot. That's kind of a given. But, what we really look at is your essay. Writing a good essay, exactly. That's a really important part there. Animation's about storytelling. So tell us a story. Tell us, that movie that inspired you as a kid, or video game or TV show or whatnot. It was Snoopy for me, Peanuts. I loved the Charlie Brown cartoons. What really got me into animation as a kid and music. And tell us a story about, what inspired you. What was that moment where you really wanted to figure out animation and learn how it was done, and what do you want to do with it? The question on the application is, why do you want to become an animator? Tell us a little story about that. It doesn't have to be 5 pages, but write us a couple paragraphs.
Yeah, not a sentence, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then your Maya skills. That's really important for us as well. If you don't have any Maya skills, that's fine. That's okay, because we have a place for you to start. But if you have some Maya experience already, indicate that you do and tell us a little bit about that. You can include that in your essay.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, where you learned Maya and what your Maya skills are like. I think it's important to know too, because some people will tell us that they have Maya experience, but they've only done modeling. And so that's good to indicate maybe in your essay as well, versus have you actually have any animation in Maya? If you know some basic Maya stuff, then that's good, and then we can make sure that you start in the right place. So yeah, that's really it with the application.
Yeah.
Tim, you want to show us a little bit?
Yeah, I do. I actually want to do a little quick run through on that and let them see what's going on that, so they can kind of get an idea. So this is that track of 6 courses, character animation program, and it's tiered curriculum. So we work you through the basics and then kind of step you up as you go along to where you get to full dialogue scenes like you see here. Well, I'm going to show you what it looks like to actually apply. So I click the apply button. Well, look, we got 2 periods that we're applying. We have the ability to apply for. So we got our summer 2020 course. That's the one I feel like applying for because it's going to be starting June 22nd. I can manage that. So I'm going to go ahead and click apply. Cool. Well, I'm already in there because it knows me, right? It's tracking me, right? So I'll go ahead and sign into that. Oh, cool. Here we go. Now this is going to go in now in the personal information field. I've already filled that stuff in. It's right here. Tim Evatt, birth date, phone number, right? All that stuff is right here. So now when I go to the assessment part, which is the second phase of this, I'm going to go ahead and put in my Maya knowledge. Yeah, I've taken the Maya workshop, but I still kind of consider my skills to be below average on that. So I'm going to be upfront and honest with that and put that here. Also, advanced placement is listed here. So advanced placement is there for people that maybe have some prior experience doing animation. If they've already got a demo reel that they've been working on, we don't want to just put them in animation basics because they've just applied. So if you have a demo reel that contains 3D character animation and you want to submit that demo reel so that maybe you get a chance to be placed in a higher class, you're going to go ahead and check the yes box right here. And then you're going to go ahead and copy and paste that link in here. Could be YouTube, could be Vimeo. Post that link right into this side right here. And if you have any comments about the reel, maybe, hey, the first 30 seconds is character animation, the last 30 seconds is modeling or whatever. That way we know going in what we're actually looking for. And then there's that question that Mars was talking about. Why do you want to become an animator, right? So this is where you're going to go ahead and type in that content. Look, it's not just this little section, but check it out. There's a lot of room for words there. So please explain stuff to us, because guess what? Mars and I read those essays. That's how we determine if somebody is either accepted or rejected to the school based upon the essay. So do your best if you can. Once you've kind of completed all of these steps, you're going to go to the submit application phase, and then you essentially would submit that application right here by clicking that thing.
Boom.
And then that's it. You're done. It's so easy. It's free to apply. Once we get your application, Mars and I will get that, reach out to you with your next steps and sort of getting to know you and figuring out what's the best path we can put you on for success. And then we walk you through that path. Cool?
Nice.
Nice. So let me take a look here. Let me switch back over to my stuff here. And then the important 2 words, full screen. Right. Hey, Mars, let's talk about how people determine what class they should take.
Yeah. So one thing I just wanted to kind of give everyone an update. Hard to believe we're at 10:44 already here in California time. We've got 17 questions already queued up, and they look like pretty good questions. So
dude.
So I want to speed things up just a little bit so we can get to that Q&A.
I like it.
Make sure we get everybody out on time. But yeah, I'll go over the slide really quickly here. Which course should you take first? If you don't know anything in Maya, then take the Maya workshop. It's a great place to start. And I think we even have a special promo for you at the very end here. Mm-hmm. If you don't know anything in Maya, that's totally fine. If you've never touched Maya, you've never opened it before, or maybe you've only done a little bit of modeling, you should take the Maya workshop. It's a really great place to start. 6 weeks, you learn all the basics. You'll be animating by week 2 of the workshop. It's awesome. Now, if you already know what the graph editor is and how to navigate in Maya, how to create a play blast, what keyframing is, things like that, if you're already comfortable with that, then you could start off with animation basics, or AN01 as we call it, and that's a really great place to start. So it's really easy. Again, when you put that information on your application, when you submit an application, we're gonna contact you. We're gonna call you or text you or email you. We're gonna get in touch with you, and we'll talk with you and make sure you're comfortable and really understand the right place to start. So that's all I've got for that.
I dig it. Now let's talk about that code you were mentioning.
Oh yeah,
check it out. So for those of you that have not used Maya before, that want to take advantage of a great promo that we've got coming up, this is for our Maya workshop that's starting on May the 4th. As Mars would say,
May the 4th be with you.
Yes. So we had to fit that in, even under time constraints. So this Maya workshop normally carries a price of $6.99, but we've got this promo code going right now, and it's only for that particular one, which, by the way, this May 4th workshop is the last Maya workshop that you can take prior to the summer course beginning. There are no others that you can take in order to get into the summer program. So if you were trying to start summer, take this workshop. So if you were going to take advantage of this promo code, you're going to go ahead and register for the workshop. But at the very end of that registration part for the workshop, you're going to type in a code under the promo code area. It's an open field, and it's all lowercase, one solid word, Maya for all, which is MAYA, the number 4, ALL, Maya for all. You'll see the $200 discount pop up. You'll get the workshop for $4.99. You don't have to purchase the software. Sweet.
That's an awesome discount.
You're in, man. You're in. And then that way you could just drop right in, take the workshop for 6 weeks. You'll get done with that thing June 12th. Your summer class begins June 22nd.
Boom.
You're doing your thing. What do you think about that?
That's awesome.
You know what we need to do?
What's that?
Go into some Q&A.
Boom.
Let's talk again. Maya for all. MAYA, the number 4,
ALL.
Boom. Here we go. Let's talk about some stuff.
All right. So I've seen a bunch of great questions coming in. There was, let's see, they came in a couple different places. So someone did ask whether they get a degree when they graduate from Animation Mentor. And so I'll answer that one. I'll just kind of start off with that one. So we do offer a certificate in 3D character animation. But as I tell most students, I really like to really be honest about that and say, it doesn't matter if you have a degree or a certificate or diploma or, that paper. It's great. I mean, it's awesome to have that. I have a degree and I love it, but honestly, what's really gotten me, the jobs that I need and what's gotten the students, the jobs that they're going for is the demo reel. You should really focus in on that demo reel, because that's what's really going to be the key to getting your foot in the door as a character animator.
Yeah, good tip. I also see one on here, and couple of them on here. Somebody's asking about Toon Boom. Yeah, we do use Toon Boom actually for our 2D animation workshop. That's for Rafi, who's asking about that. So we do offer that if you're interested in checking that particular course out. So let me take a look on that one. Got that one. Cool. What else you got?
All right, so I'm just gonna go here to the top of the list on the Q&As here.
Gotcha.
Says, sir, this is from Sri Hari. Sir, I'm a VFX student from India. I just need to know, is Autodesk Maya enough for a good future in the visual effects industry? Tim, you have something for that one?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you want to do. Maya has some limitations to it, but you could definitely use that as a good foundation for that. But again, like Mars said, it depends on what you're doing with it and what your demo reel actually looks like. So you definitely could, but it just, like I said, it depends, because if you look at some of our creatures courses where they're doing that, they're using Maya for that kind of stuff, and it looks like pretty hardcore VFX with the stuff that they're doing in there. So you could.
Yeah, and again, we're not focused too much on the visual effects side. We're more focused in when we show that production pipeline on the character animation. That's where we're really focusing.
We got another one from Rafi here. If
Cool.
students are in a different country, let's say the Philippines, will the schedules be flexible? And if so, could the mentors adjust to the difference in time zones? By flexible, I mean, could we discuss at a given time the sessions take place, or is this fixed schedule? Rafi, that's a great question. And I tell you what, we have many different schedules. So as a matter of fact, this term that's coming up, what have we got? 11 different mentors teaching, Mars?
Yeah, exactly.
And with 11 different schedules. So we have students from the Philippines already, students from Australia, Spain, students from around the world. And we usually have schedules that fit their time zone. So that won't be a problem at all. It's just a matter of choosing which one. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's something that's important to us. I just got to say too, because we are based in California, but we love our international community. They make a big part of the animation mentor community, so we try to have as many schedules as possible.
Yep.
Cool. So now we've got Shaney. lately, animation studios embraced Blender as their main animation software since it's very powerful now and is also free. AM uses Maya, although the basics of animation remains the same. The emphasis is on Maya. Does AM give a parallel or equivalent Blender course? Great question. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Blender is a powerful tool. There are certainly studios that are embracing Blender, but we're a Maya school, and we've a lot of our content, everything that we have in our video lectures, our assignments, our rigs, everything is on Maya. So we kind of have that infrastructure there. Now, if you wanted to use Blender instead of Maya, I think you could do that to some extent, but you're going to run into some issues, in terms of compatibility, the Artella drive, the way that that's set up. So yeah, I think that you could utilize the skills that you're picking up learning here in Maya and apply those directly to Blender as well. So that's another way of looking at it.
Yeah, no, it's a good tip. And some of the stuff, plugins, right? Maya plugins.
Right. Plugins
possibly work for that, right?
That's a good point.
So Pablo says, I love animation, but I don't know what type of animation I want to do. Video games, characters, cinematic, etc. What can you recommend me to do? That's a tough one because it really lies with what's in your heart, right? And so if you really enjoy the old school, 2D cartoons that you might find from Looney Tunes, then, maybe look at a 6-week workshop. But again, it's just a 6-week workshop. It's sort of like a course that you would take to go, do I want to take this further, or am I at my limit right here? Where something like our 3D character animation program is a series of 6 courses specifically designed for people that is the thing that they want to do. They want to be in that part of the animation pipeline, making those digital puppets move. So it's hard for us to give you a recommendation on what you want to do, because you have to look into the stuff that really, strikes your heart and that you're passionate about. And if you find yourself watching a movie like Onward and you're like, oh my God, I want to do that, the scenes in there are so epic in there. And then if that's the stuff you want to do, 3D character animation might be your thing. It might be environments, who knows what it could be, but that's where you got to do a little bit of that soul searching.
Yeah, one thing I want to add to that too is, if you're not quite sure, if you want to do animation, but you're not quite sure exactly the direction you want to go into, even just taking the first 3 courses of the character animation is a really solid foundation. And then you could sort of branch off into game animation, creature animation, but really getting the principles down, and those 2 body mechanics courses could be a really great foundation, and then you could kind of choose a different path to go into.
Good call.
Cool. I've got another one here from Shaney. Does AM allow the use of tools like animbot when students develop their animations after blocking and into splining, or AM students need to use raw Maya's graph editor? Tim, I'm not 100% sure on that one. You have something?
Yeah. And that one I'm not too certain on as well. I believe that they do allow tools like Animbot, but I wouldn't swear to it. That's more of a tech question that we might have somebody drop into our ticket system, our support link.
Yeah.
And then that way we'll send that over to somebody like Justin or somebody that's part of that sort of tech and dev side of things that have a little bit deeper, knowledge on that. So that's a good question, Shaney. But for that one, I would probably defer to one of the experts that we actually have doing our things for us. We don't want to give you the wrong answer on that one.
Yeah, probably a great question for your mentor.
Yeah, no, this is a good call. Tommaso, hi from Italy. Talking about animation program. Is it divided into 6 different sections, each one with one mentor you can choose, right? Thank you. Yes. Tommaso, you are absolutely correct. So when you go into Animation Basics, you're going to get to choose a mentor that you're going to work with for that 12-week period of time. When you get ready to go into class 2, which is body mechanics, you're going to get to select yet another mentor for class 2 and yet another one for class 3. So it's kind of neat if you're to say, work with a mentor from Pixar from your first 12 weeks. Maybe the second 12 weeks, you're going to find this mentor from Blue Sky. Switch it up and kind of change mentors from different studios as you kind of progress through. So definitely that's something that we do, and it's a great opportunity for you.
Awesome. We've got AJMs. Love that
Sweet.
name. Can you give me the detail about tuition funding plans? So I think what you're probably talking about is our payment plans. You can take a look at our site, animationmentor.com, and click on the tuition breakdown under the admissions section there. But I'll give you a brief overview. Basically, we make it really simple. We take tuition for the course, which is $24.99, $2,499 US, and you can basically divide it by 3 or 4. If you want to do a monthly plan, that's payment plan option number 3, then it comes out to $833 per month. A lot of students prefer to have a little bit of a lower amount to pay every 3 weeks, and that one is payment plan option number 4. That comes out to about $625 every 3 weeks. So it's really simple, really easy to do, easy to sign up for. There's no fees or interest or anything like that. If you have any,
and we could send you the link on that too. So if you wanted that payment plan link, we could easily send that to you, Abram, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool.
Very cool. Let's take a look here at Isaac. What's Isaac got going on?
I think
Abram. It was Abram.
Yeah.
How soon after signing up do you get access to the campus? Would it make sense if you had to finalize payment first? Yeah. Here's the thing, that it depends on where you're at. So if you went ahead and registered for that workshop and you did that promo code Maya for all and you got into that thing, you could actually access campus today.
Yeah. Right away.
So campus.animationmentor.com. You'd use the same email address and password you created when you actually registered for one of the courses. You would actually use that to gain access to the student site, create your profile, start cruising, doing some of the things that I was showing you earlier on there where you're dropping comments in and stuff like that. You could actually do that today. So if you decided that you wanted to register for a class, but Monday is registration day as well.
It is.
That's that's mayhem day right there, man. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually really stoked about that. So, Abram, you totally can get access to the campus as soon as you register for your first class.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Cool. And then we've got Isaac. You mentioned polishing and portfolio at the end of the character animation course. I did. Thanks for listening. While AM offers additionally complex rigs as students progress, do students eventually create their own rigs or their own characters as part of their demo reels? As I mentioned, I think one of the reasons why our students are so successful is because we don't spend a whole lot of time on some of those other areas. And I think it's important to know those areas. It's important to know that, modeling and rigging happens before it gets to the animators. But, we don't do a whole lot in the way of creating your own rigs. Now, if you're interested in character design, you might want to look at that modeling workshop by Hong Lim, but no, for the most part, you'll be using, the rigs that we supply. And you know what? I've had a student have some concern about, is my rig or is my demo reel gonna look like everybody else's because it has Stewart? And I think this is where you really get to let your creativity shine. What character hiring studios are looking for is solid body mechanics, timing, spacing, good expression of weight, good acting skills, and regardless of the rig that you use, if that's coming through in your animation, that's going to be most important. So and that's covered in polishing and portfolio. And basically in every single course, polishing and portfolio is 12 weeks just dedicated to really making sure you've got all those fine details nailed so that you're ready to present that to a hiring studio.
Dude, and we've got mentors teaching the polishing portfolio like Sean Kelly and Sean Sexton, who are supervising animators, and so that's their job.
Jean Denis too, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, and that's key in that too. And the nice thing about using our specific rigs is that you don't have to worry about anything breaking. Support is always there for you. And I can tell you this is that being at conventions like CTN and things like that, our rigs stand out when our students and graduates go to have their reels reviewed by these big studios. They recognize our reels right out of the gate because they understand what our character rigs look like. And then when it comes time to actually watch it, they also know that they've been taught by somebody that probably works within that studio. And it's kind of nice that you have that. Let's take a look at what Marcia's saying. Marcia. Where would be a good place to start for those that are beginners? Do you start in a specific course or do you start with a workshop and then join the course?
Great question.
Marcia, you really got it on that one. You kind of answered it even in that second one, which I did. So for people that have no prior experience doing this stuff and it maybe is just an interest to them, they're like, I want to get into the industry. Maybe I don't draw. That's okay. You don't need to be able to draw to be a character animator.
Right.
We recommend you start with the Maya workshop to begin with. Learn the basics to begin with. How do I animate? What is this software? What do I use it for? So we want to teach you how to use the software first in that first 6-week workshop. And then you drop into animation basics, which is that 12-week animation basics course that you would start with. That way you know exactly how to use the software first, and then you will go right into animation basics, where we teach you very simple things to begin with: pose to pose animation, understanding those 12 principles of animation to begin with, and then you have the opportunity to move into body mechanics afterwards and keep progressing up. So the perfect place to start for you is definitely the Maya workshop, and then from there, the character animation program. Mars and I could put together a pretty good game plan for you if you like.
Awesome.
Cool. Oh,
you want to follow up with the next one by Marcia?
Totally. Marcia, I'm hoping it's the same person. I'm guessing it is, right? Software is used and supplied, if any. Yeah, so the software that we're using is Maya, right? Yeah. Maya is made by a company called Autodesk.
Yeah.
Maya is like the industry standard software. So even, studios that make their own proprietary software, sort of loosely based off the framework of Maya, we teach that here as our primary software. Now, how you get that software is once you've registered for the workshop, you would go on to the Autodesk Maya site and then register yourself for the student version of Maya. And that way you can get the Maya student licensing for 3 years, right, and you don't have to worry about it. And you just move right into Maya. Not only will you be able to use it for the Maya workshop, but then you'll be able to use it for the entire 18-month character animation track if you decide to go that far.
Yep, Maya education.
Boom.
That's it. Boom. All right, we've got Sebastian. Wow, you guys have got these questions come in. And I just want to point out, it's 11 o'clock. We're supposed to go till 11. We're going to finish these questions off as fast as we can.
We're killing it.
And we want to give you guys some contact info for us as well. But yeah, so we're just going to keep blasting through these. So,
let's go.
Sebastian, how does advanced placement work? Yeah, so Tim showed us in the application portion of this, so we might have covered it already. But essentially, when you're filling out the application, you just check that you want to do advanced placement. You include your demo reel. We will get that to a mentor usually within 1 day. We're pretty quick with this process here. We'll have a mentor take a look at your demo reel. They'll take a look and they'll have a recommendation for you based on your work. I think it's really important to think of this almost like a job. If you're applying for a 3D character animation program, make sure you're putting your strong 3D character animation work up front on your reel. If you have other work like 2D animation, or you have some biz dev or some modeling stuff, that's fine to have on your demo reel, but put that towards the end of your demo reel. Put all your strong stuff, your walk cycles, your body mechanics, any acting skills that you have on the front of your demo reel, and we'll take care of that for you.
Very cool. Aithar, if you don't have a college degree, how difficult will it be to land a job in a foreign country considering visa issues? Well, it depends on where you're applying. If you looked at our job board on the resources tab on the student site, there's a lot of opportunities out there for people to work remote gigs. Otherwise, you're right, pulling visas at this point in time with all the stuff that's going on can be a little bit challenging. So I urge you, if you're looking for jobs in the animation industry, look at some of the remote gigs that are out there, because there's a lot more than there ever were before. So hopefully that helps.
Sweet. Cool. Costanza, I saw this question earlier in the chat, I think, and it was a great question, so thanks for putting it in the Q&A. Hello, I'm interested in creature animation. Would it be possible to take the first 3 character animation courses to learn body mechanics and then switch to the creature animation workshop instead of the acting classes? So yeah, I've got kind of two answers to this. So absolutely, I think yes is the answer. You could certainly do that. But I don't think it's necessarily worth dismissing the acting courses, because you can bring a lot of those acting skills to your creatures. And I've seen students do that where they have, sort of this human element of acting in their creatures. And I think that brings a lot to it. Also worth noting, as a graduate of Animation Mentor, you actually get a special discount on the creature animation courses. So it's actually worth it to go through the full character animation program, then take advantage of the creatures courses. Because honestly, where I've seen students have a lot of successes where they have a blend of both character animation and creature animation. And you could focus more on that on your demo reel if you want to specifically get into creature animation. Bring that all up to the forefront of your demo reel. But it doesn't hurt to have some of that character animation or a blend of the two, and having some of that those acting skills in your creatures.
Good call. Good call. I know guys like Sean Kelly, one of our founders over there at ILM, says, hey, have some creatures inside of there.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yep.
Oh, man, I got a couple of them here. I know Frederic right here, but Marcia asking 3D animation, do you also do 2D animation? We do 2D animation. We actually have a 2D animation workshop using Toon Boom by Harmony, and that's a cool 6-week workshop if you want to learn about that. And you'll actually see some of the 2D shots that they're doing in there look just like the 3D shots, except they are 2D. They're doing the ball bounce,
Right.
the demonstration of weight, all of those same things and principles, but now it's 2D instead. Cool.
Yeah, and that's taught by Jay Jackson. He's a Disney animator.
Little Mermaid. Frederic, what's going on? I know Frederic.
Oh, you want to take that one?
Yeah, man. What is planned, right? What is the plan? Recommended time effort. Is there a full setup as a full-time study, or would it be possible to work besides doing the courses? Are there any experiences? Frederic, we have this time management template that we send out, and it it structures your week for you, kind of shows you how you should structure your week, but it has it listed at 10 hours a week on this thing. Ideally, you might be able to do that for something like the Maya workshop, but when you start kicking it up into some more of the higher end courses, you're gonna probably stretch that to more like 14 to 16 hours, because now your demo reel is starting to be created once you're in classes 4, 5, and 6. So spend more time on those without a shadow of a doubt. The more time you put into it, the better your shots are going to be done. It can be full-time study if you want to, but you can work. Most of my students are currently in class. They work and they attend our courses because we have all of these different schedules for you to choose from. Typically, you're going to find something that's going to work around your work schedule and your life schedule as well.
Look at that. I think we cleared the list. Oh,
You cleared the list, guys. I'm so impressed.
Oh, wait, there's one more.
Wait.
We got one more. Do we have time to take one more?
One more.
Okay,
One
one more.
more.
This is the last one, guys. Costanza, is there a grading system? What is it like? What happens if we fail a class? I think this is an important question. Yes, we do have a grading system. It goes from 1 to 5. 1 is the lowest, 5 is the highest. You definitely want to be shooting for 5s. We do take an average of those at the end, and you can pass or you can fail. Now, sometimes it's like right on the line there, and it could be up to the mentor. Even if the numbers show that you pass, sometimes your mentor may recommend for you to repeat a class, and we do have some special pricing for that. You get $900 off of a course. We'll do everything that we can, especially Tim and I. We are your student success coaches, so we'll be there to support you along the way. And so yeah, absolutely. So I think that's it.
I think
Holly?
that's it. I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. You guys really are student success coaches. For those of you watching, Tim and Mars answer all of our Facebook messages, our Instagram messages. They answer our admissions inbox. They're constantly on phone calls and texting our students just to keep up with them and make sure that they're getting the support they need. And they honestly do. You can see that in the work they produce. Our students are really talented. So thank you both so much for sharing your wisdom and your advice and your jokes today.
Yes.
I love the energy. And thank you all for attending our webinar. We so appreciate you hanging out with us on whatever time zone you're in. It's for us here in California. Right? It's a Saturday morning. This is our weekend, whatever those are anymore. But we really appreciate you hanging out with us. I'm going to leave this on for another few seconds just so you can sort of say your goodbyes via the chat.
Yeah.
But we'll probably dip out.
Well,
so thank you so much.
Talk to us about contacting though, real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. How can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So just want to remind everybody, we've got 2 application periods open. If you're ready to apply, you can do it as early as today. You can apply for either the summer term that begins in June or the fall term that begins in September. If you have questions and you want to contact us, Holly had already mentioned we are monitoring Instagram and Facebook. You can send us direct messages there. You can email us at admissions@animationmentor.com. That goes directly to me and Tim. Tim, what's our phone number? We have a real phone number.
Dude, it's an actual legit phone. It's 877-326-4628. So that's 877-326-4628. You can also, on the animationmentor.com site, there's a cool chat tab down at the bottom. If you hit that chat feature down there, Mars and I monitor the chat. So if it's just a question that maybe you forgot to ask during this webinar, you could either message us directly at admissions@animationmentor.com or hit the chat feature on the AM campus, or not the AM campus, but the animationmentor.com site. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have.
Sweet.
Wonderful.
All right, well, thanks everybody.
That's it. Thank you all so much. Hope to see you on campus sometime.
Bye, guys. Have an awesome day.